Hey there, welcome to another episode of Coffee Solo. Recording this at 9:04 p.m. on Friday, July 18th, 2025. So that would be episode 2025-07-1801. I was going to record this yesterday, but I fell asleep and I needed it. Although now I'm pretty sure I'm getting sick, so we'll get into that in a second. So not even a fire drill today's episode. That was the title yesterday. So I rewrote the summary to account for that. Yesterday, we were to have had a fire alarm sounding, or have had fire alarms sounding inside our apartments, sounding from 9 a.m. until whenever, not for fire drills, but to try to determine who messed with their alarm horns. That sounds like a Halloween costume, I think. Yipes. Luckily or suspiciously, they canceled this exercise via email just after 9 a.m. Unfortunately, I was not planning, I was planning on being awake at 9 a.m., but only for this drill. So when I saw that email, I was like, ugh. And then I passed out. Turns out I think I'm getting sick, but we'll talk about that in a moment. First, the links for today's episode. They are the same, except for maybe one thing. So my other coffee website, buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo, and the Buy Me an Update audio program, which is posted there, not exclusively, at buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo/posts. And there you will find a new episode on Mondays. Unless their site is broken again, then you might find it on a Tuesday, which is what happened this week. So on Tuesday, while I was waiting for them to get this all sorted, published my episode of Let's Innovate for Vegas. And then I it's just going through their horrible web user interface. If they had a command line RESTful interface, I could have been done in a few minutes. But I created the Coffee Solo channel and the Buy Me an Update channel. And I updated all of the episodes with all of the episode descriptions for all of both programs, Coffee Solo, this one that you're listening to now, and Buy Me an Update. So now neither is exclusively available on their respective platforms. So we'll get into that, but I've included links to the Spotify for creators profile pages for these. I will comment on this more, I'm sure, but I've been saying this for ages, and it's on my to-do list, which has this mysterious length. It's always much longer than it seems. But I need to publish my own feeds so that I own them, and then let RSS and the feed economy do its thing. So I should never be waiting to publish an audio or video, for that matter, on Buy Me a Coffee or anywhere else. I should push it to where I push it to my own platform that I can control and maintain and deal with bugs and whatnot. And then RSS feed subscriptions will take care of distribution. That's the nature of how that works, and I should be leaning more into that. Not relying on, beholden works too, the likes of Spotify or Buy Me an Update, or Buy Me a Coffee, I should say, or anyone. I've talked about Posse before. Publish on your own server, syndicate elsewhere. So there's an extra silent O in there, POSSE. I really should be drinking that Kool-Aid more. And finally, there's an affiliate link for the Nasal Fresh MD. It's an Amazon affiliate link. Today, it doesn't sound so great, but as I will describe, I think I'm getting sick. So otherwise, the Nasal Fresh has been a lovely addition to my morning and evening in the bathroom to try to clear out my sinuses. The greater Vegas area is lousy with who knows what. I think all that nuclear testing back in the 50s really did us in. So whatever's in the air, it ain't from around here. Or maybe it is. But I have a link in there if you ever want to give it a try. I have had a good time with it. And if I use it regularly, which has not been the case for the last 3 days, it really does make a difference. And so yesterday I got my schedule was totally screwed up, as I will mention in a moment. So that's the links. Basically, the notice that we received, first we got an email, and then we had a note on our door. So we got an email on Monday, note on the door on Tuesday. No, email Tuesday, note on the door Wednesday. I don't know. The note, I don't know what I did with the note. Anyway, there's going to be fire alarms going off starting at 9 a.m. They'll be going off intermittently because we need to determine who tampered with their horn. I think there are, let me see, I think two. I believe there are two, maybe three. There might be another one in the bathroom, but I see two horns inside apartments. So if I set off an alarm, or if an alarm is going off on my floor or whatever, there are hallway alarms and there are alarms inside. And so I guess somebody tampered with theirs. And I noticed on Monday, I think it was, that the fire doors in the hallway were closed, and they get really, so if there's a fire alarm is going off, or the fire system has tripped, then the magnets that hold the doors open will turn off and the doors will come to a nice gentle close. And they were staying closed, so the magnets were staying off. So that was kind of a telltale sign right there. And there it was. So yeah, so I suspect that they made this noise to get whoever tampered with their in-home sensors or systems would go, I think it might have been me. So you got it. That's like giving everyone push-ups in your boot camp unit. Okay, if I don't find out who did this, everybody's doing push-ups. We're all going to run 10 miles. I have been involved with Class A fire alarm system installations. I had a high school job doing fire and burglar alarms, telephony, some other basic stuff. It was a real job. Class A sensors that you would put in a public place, like we did at church one time, and like a big church, like a church with like a school attached or something. So there's wires running everywhere. There are fire alarms, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, everything, the whole nine. And all of the sensors had Class A wiring, which meant there were wires running out to individual sensors. I think they're on a bus. So you basically are you have I assume it's like one wire or two wire or SPI or something, but you put all of your alarms on a bus. So there are wires that connect all of them. And so essentially you're able to address each sensor. I don't know if they have other ways of doing it, and it's been a long time since I was in high school, but basically you'd be able to determine if any alarm or any sensor was having a problem, and you can test them and get sensor readings and so on. Oh, the backup battery is going to die or whatever. So I'm kind of curious why they would have had to do this very invasive tripping all alarms for as long as it takes. That's really painful. But it's par for the course, I guess. Luckily, they didn't have to do it. I have to admit, I was like, they're not going to do this. I bet they're going to cancel. And I did not win anything for being right. But I do feel today, I feel it. I've been feeling it all day. So yeah, yesterday I was awake. I ended up not going to sleep. I figured, okay, I'll just, because I've been in the process of trying to break down the rest of the boxes, I'm getting close. But I have a cart that I can put the boxes in when I break them down. So it was basically blocking the doorway because I would put the boxes in and then go right out the front door. So I'm like, all right, now I got to move this. It sounds kind of janky, but it's just so that I can, streamline the process of breaking down. And I got to say, every time I get a damn Amazon Vine product, it's a box, and inside the box is another box. I got Matryoshka, is it? Now I got to look that up. The Russian nesting dolls. Matryoshka. I don't even know how to say that. Sorry. But anyway, so Russian nesting dolls. So it's basically every time I get one box for a damn Amazon Vine thing, I get two more. So, and all of them have my full name and address for their shipping, obviously. Not all of them, the internal ones don't. But I peel those off, so it becomes this little assembly line of peeling off labels, breaking down the boxes, packing them up, and then going down to the dumpster. Now they only empty brought to you by the people who want to set off all the fire alarms because they can't figure out who tampered with one of them. They also only empty the dumpster for recycle like once a week. And I tried to ask, I said, hey, how often do they empty that thing? Oh, I think every day. I'm like, no, not even close. So trying to figure out when the thing is available. Now, obviously, when I hurt my leg, which was it's coming up on 7 weeks ago, but we'll get to that in a moment. It would be a lot of effort to go all the way down there and see if they had emptied the thing, and then they didn't. So I'm like, well, I'm not even going to try unless I know it's empty. So on occasion, as my leg was getting a little bit better, I would walk down there, check my mail, possibly retrieve a package from the mailroom, and then I would peek out and see if the dumpster was empty. 90% of the time it was not. But anyway, so now I'm able to catch up. And so this week I have eschewed the cane. I've been able to walk pretty much. I mean, I haven't picked up the cane. So up until the weekend, I was still carrying the cane around and not using it so much, kind of as a, if you'll pardon the pun, I was using it as a crutch if I needed it, and because that's what it is. But I found all of last week that I was really barely using it. I figured, I think I could probably leave this behind. Now, carrying a cane is good for if people are thinking, why are you moving so slow? Oh, okay. So that's the way you get humanity expressed by people, is if you have an object, a sign, an indicator that, hey, I have a limitation I'm working with right now. Can you work with it also? So great. But anyway, so yesterday the fire alarm did not trip. Luckily, they canceled it before they even set the first one off. So those are always annoying. They really make you want to go outside. I don't know what they're thinking with these. But they didn't fire any of them. So I'm like, all right, I'm feeling kind of tired. I didn't have the tickle in the throat yet. So I just had my fatigue. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a nap. So it was 9:30 or something. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, I guess I was tired. And then, I was just generally run down. So I was like, I don't know. I'm feeling just plain tired. And this morning when I woke up, I was like, my throat is kind of not feeling great. And then through the day today, it's just felt worse and worse. And now it literally feels like I have a sore throat. So I had some Egyptian licorice and ginger lemon mixed together, hot tea with some Manuka honey. I only bust out the Manuka for special occasions, so it must be one of those. So we'll see if it doesn't feel great. I wouldn't even say that it's feeling better than before I had the tea, but yeah, we'll see. I might make another cup just to seal the deal. And you can probably hear it. My voice is not sounding wonderful. It never does. I don't know why have I been cursed, but I can only imagine how this will go over the weekend if I were to try to create more programming then. So I might be doing the old silent monk coding or sleeping over the weekend. Now I'm going to change it up. I watched the Bulwark channel on YouTube. Less and less because they were an interesting, and I listen to a variety of things. I like the Dispatch. I actually like Jonah Goldberg. I like Sarah Isker. I like David French. So I think the Dispatch has a nice collection of characters, and they are intelligent and they are reasonable people. So that's good. The Bulwark is a bunch of angry former Republicans, so they have a certain perspective. They are professional, but they go a little bit overboard. So anyway, that's just a small. That's a little bit of a amuse-bouche of my media diet. But anyway, so that the FY pod came on, and that's I don't even know what the FY stands for you, like maybe a takeoff on TikTok. So it's aimed at Gen Z, and one of the people on there, Cameron, is a school shooting survivor. So he's got an interesting story, and he's fine. I have nothing against any of the people on the show personally. Even Bill Kristol is like more rational. I used to think he was totally out there, like so far right and troubling. Now we know there's a lot more of those people out there, but he seems to have become a little bit more introspective and analytical, not so quick to jump on the side of the opinion, but to reason a bit. I appreciate that with Jonah Goldberg as well. And so I'm not necessarily against being, affiliated with a political party, but I think if you make your mind up before you even know what it is, I think that's a problem. So I really appreciate people who are reasoned in their conversations. It might be, you know what, I'm normally pretty far right, but in this case, I think we should be supporting public education, or there is a community health issue if we don't have public education access for everybody. So maybe I will be pro socialism when it comes to education. But anyway, so the Bulwark. So they have this FY pod, and it's also Tim Miller. Tim Miller has a kind of evokes mixed emotions from people. I'm kind of either way, but anyway. So the Cam, I couldn't tell you his last name. He had his ex-girlfriend on, and she is also a YouTuber, because who isn't? And they were talking about dating app profiles and whether you should indicate your political party, your political affiliation, party affiliation. The most ridiculous conversation I've ever heard. So I know I'm getting old, but it's like, I cannot imagine. I guess what's your political party is the new what's your sign. It was a really frustrating conversation. I cannot say that I was hovering over it. It was in a class of content that I let play while I'm doing something else. I know that sounds like an excuse, but it's true. So the gist of it was super annoying, and I found the future of humanity is probably hanging by a thread at this point. If people are deciding, who did you vote for? Oh, I don't want to, like, you could be passing the perfect match. Because guess what? Voting, I think when people turn political candidates into the driver of their ideas and not the other way around, it's when you run into trouble. So I like to consider systems and the different decisions that need to be made and the different parts of the system that are going to break when you stop paying for this, or when you introduce that, or you change the rules around this or that, or whatever it is. So I think I try to take a more analytical approach. I try not to be too emotional, but I think if people are going to rope in their emotions and make life decisions, which are already being made by voting, certainly in the long term and possibly in the near term, but if you're going to also, and I don't know what her name was, but she said, oh, I was dating someone from Australia, but then he started talking and I could pick up that he was a conservative. So I ended it. Like, he's not even like an American Republican. So I don't know what to make of that. I just wanted to express that today. Like, oh my goodness, I think I'm good where I am. Independent party. So as I mentioned, I'm rejiggering the feeds. So I'm trying to decide if I should delay the RSS feed. So technically still publishing on the respective platforms. Buy me an update on Buy Me a Coffee. This program, Coffee Solo, on Ko-fi.com, and then upload sometime later to the RSS feed. But now I'm kind of wondering, like, what am I getting for that? So making it not exclusive is not a big deal. Yeah, I don't know. I will probably not delay them, and I'll see if people are listening. That will be the ultimate decider. And then maybe I'll do something like a bonus pre-roll or something on the actual sites. Because I would like people to visit at least one of Buy Me a Coffee or Coffee Solo Ko-fi.com for one reason, and it is because these are where, should my websites go offline, should Buy Me a Coffee disappear, and that's a good reason not to depend on one. Should Buy Me a Coffee decide to go offline, should something be down, there should, and not on Twitter, but there should be a way to go, let me go check out what's the status of Dan Hugo and his media production empire. So because Buy Me a Coffee and Ko-fi.com both, well, Buy Me a Coffee certainly has the profile page, but I can post things there that are not going to get lost in the chaos of a Twitter or a Blue Sky or something. So I would like it if more people would make use of that tool, but I don't use it to make money. So I kind of have to walk that line between it's useful, but don't feel like you have to pay money. Yeah, we'll see. I can already feel my throat is crying out for either more tea or stop talking or both. So I'm going to say that I do want to add video. I really need the Hugo Floss program to capture some time from me so I can put that time into it. And I'm thinking, like, I think every once in a while I should do, if I do interviews again, I think I should do a separate video channel and then publish the audio sometimes, if that makes sense. So it'd be like a video only, and then publish the video on this channel. And from what I understand, if Spotify, if you publish a video on an audio feed, it doesn't do, that's right, okay, it doesn't do an RSS feed for video. So it will literally strip out the video and make an audio episode for the RSS feed, but I can do that myself. So I probably am going, I'm just thinking out loud here, I'm probably going to take or create a video channel, video only. Obviously it will have audio, but so if I ever do videos, there will be video that's separate and distinct from audio programming. So if somebody wants to be a guest on an audio only audio program, that's fine. If we want to do a video conversation, that would be a separate thing. And the reason you can make the audio version of it, but the reason when you have video is that you tend, or this can happen, people will make references that are visual. That leaves out people with vision impairments, obviously. But then it leaves everyone also out listening to audio only. So it's just something to pay attention to. What I really like, my end goal, though, is to publish on YouTube, if for no other reason than to have transcripts automatically generated. Because I do feel bad that I don't have an accessibility option for my audio only programming. And that would be true with video for vision impaired people if there's not, if there's something in the frame that is not being described. So anyway, it's something I think about. I did an episode on Friday about my strategy. So today's Friday. Earlier today, I did an episode of Cafe Genius Impresarios about my strategy for pursuing a startup, 2 startups here in Vegas. And it kind of sounds like I was just rehashing some things, but I think it's important to understand, or at least try to understand, or come up with one's own personal sort of model. That's becoming a common use word. A model for one's own understanding about how the world works, or you're part of it. So, I mean, along the way, I've come to realize that you cannot count on people to come through here in Vegas. They don't follow through, or they don't show up. They don't call back. They don't respond. Things like this. So this is a component of things to consider. Is what is the culture and environment like? This was not always the case in Silicon Valley. I was in the real Silicon Valley. So when people say, well, we're the next Silicon Valley, I say, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of cultural development that will need to take place here. So I have a strategy for myself to get through the unusual, not Silicon Valley-like environment that is the greater Vegas economic or entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem, the diversifying economy that they're trying to build here. Interesting times. Anyway, you can no doubt hear now my voice is definitely waving a yellow flag. Time to come into the pits. So I'm going to leave it there. But the fire alarm thing yesterday was silly, and it totally threw off my entire sleep schedule, my wellness. I'm becoming too fragile in my old age. It's unfortunate. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening, as always, and we'll catch you next time. And don't forget, sort of exclusively available on Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/danhugo/posts, the Coffee Solo audio program, but also now available via Spotify. And then when I fix up the feed publication accessibility stuff, availability, I should say, it should start appearing on more of the usual places. So there you go. I'll catch you later.